one and a two and a 1, 2, 3. From Anaheim to Hollywood to Palm Springs to San Diego and all across America, it's always a great day to make a new friend on the Dean Olson radio program. Right here and right now on your screen, if you happen to be watching the show, you will see a returning guest. It's Mr. Jeffrey Sitcov, founder and president of Doors of Change, a nonprofit organization that is making a positive impact in the lives of homeless youth in the San Diego County area and other cities for the last 22 years, since 2001. We all got to learn about Jeffrey's organization recently, and that was probably about 2 weeks ago, and today he has brought along a friend who is a very passionate supporter of this cause and a notable name in show business, the vibrant and wonderful Lucie Arnaz. So it's a true honor and pleasure to welcome both to the show, Lucie Arnaz and Jeffrey Sitcov.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Very nice. Jeffrey, how's it going? I only talked to you a couple of weeks ago, but you hit us over the head with some truth. You know what's going on down there, just in San Diego. This is going on all over the country, but you've done some pretty noble things down there in San Diego. What is your organization about for those who didn't get to hear the last show?
Well, first, I just want to thank Lucie because it's so wonderful to work with her. She's passionate about our cause, and it's wonderful to have her with us. Doors of Change is a nonprofit that has been around for 22 years. We've helped over 2,700 kids between the ages 17 and 25, the transitional age youth, which are the most underserved the entire homeless population. We've helped them get off the streets, over 2,700 of them. And, once you give them a lift up, they have to work hard, but we've had many, many success stories. Once a youth trusts you, that's the key. They don't trust anybody. We're experts in gaining trust very quickly. And once we do, that's why we've had record-breaking numbers the last 3 years.
The trust issue, is that something that was pretty natural? Did you have to sort of work into that, realize that, you just do something almost unconditionally and they'll come back and trust you, and then big things can happen when that happens?
When you just think about these youth, people always ask why they're homeless. They're homeless because they come from dysfunctional families, that they get raped, they get molested, they get beat up, taken advantage of. And so they leave. It's safer to be on the streets than in their home, or they're LGBTQ plus. And 40% of them go on the streets because they're gay. And so, they don't trust anybody. I wouldn't trust anybody either if they've, been taken advantage of by every adult that they know. So you really have to gain trust quickly, because we know that once we gain trust, they want to get help. And so we pick up the phone 24/7. They call us at 2 a.m. We pick up the phone. And when they have the immediacy of that, then they realize, hey, maybe this organization can help me, and that's why within a couple of days, they trust us.
That's good. Just to clarify why they were out on the street, because you said just their parents probably rejected them, many of these homes, right? Because of that thing. There was no fault of their own. It's not like, you're doing drugs or you're stealing or, all these other things that cause the parents to go off the handle and kick them out. But this is a whole different thing, and they have nowhere to go but on the streets. So
yes. They literally kick them out when they come out to their parents and tell them that they're gay.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Lucie, how did you get involved in this? I know we have a mutual friend, Harlan Bull. He probably came to you with this cause, or did you hear about this already?
No, it was Harlan.
Yeah.
I've told this a couple of times, but I trust him to never pick up the phone and call me unless it's something important or something he thinks I really should do. It's not just ribbon cutting stuff, we're having a party and we need a celebrity. It wasn't that at all. And he said, I've been working with this group for a long time, pro bono, and they need a voice. They need a leg up sometimes. I'm happy to know that there are radio shows and people, videos that Jeffrey can go on, and they'll accept just Jeffrey, like he's been on your show before, and thank God for that. But there are a lot of other people that we can get the word out there, but they always go, well, we don't really know who that is. And strangely enough, if you throw them a name, they bite, and then they want to talk about the cause. That's just the reality of our world. It's news, And I, strangely enough, had just been talking to my husband, Larry Luckenbill, about wanting to get more involved in the homeless situation right here in Palm Springs, California, where we live. And I had a couple of ideas of houses I wanted to build, like rest stops where people could, get showers and change when it's hot in the summer and sleep a good night without fear, like they're afraid because they don't trust anybody. And I was working with my kids actually to see if they would help me do this when I got this call from Harlan. Like, tell the universe what you want and be specific, right?
There you go. Yes.
It's so weird. And Harlan said out of the blue, and he goes, I'm working with Jeffrey Sitcov and he's the Doors of Change, and it's about homeless youth. And he works in the San Diego area, but it really is a large, outreach because he helps all kinds of kids and the word gets out there. And yet I said, I can't believe you're calling me about this right now. This is so bizarre. So I kind of went, okay, I have this opportunity to help here. Let me do that first. And maybe I could learn a little bit, about the problem, which I am. And then maybe I can bring it home here and use some of it here. And as a kid, we were always taught to think globally, but work locally. Uh-huh. So there's this huge homeless problem. I see it here all the time. Palm Springs is supposed to be a really comfortable place and it's not so cold in the winter. So there's a lot of homeless people too, like in Los Angeles. And it's local. So I can do something locally. And I just felt like, okay, if there's a way I can help Jeffrey do something, then let me start there. And so here I am.
Oh, what do you think, Jeffrey? Has she been good to you?
I am so grateful for Lucie, truthfully, because taking time out of her busy schedule, but she realizes that her name will get people to say, hey, I want to listen to this. And by doing that, we can educate people about the homeless youth issue. And the biggest thing I've seen in 22 years is that people have no idea the severity of the homeless youth issue. You hear about the adults, you hear about the vets, you hear about the families. You never hear about the youth.
Absolutely true. That's absolutely true. People are shocked that there are 300,000, 700,000. There was like 150,000. It was like 100 and how many was it? A couple of years ago, it was like 1.5 million. And then 3 years later, it was 3.5. I mean, it just exploded. Wow. And that's nationally, but I mean, yes. It's hundreds of thousands of kids and they come and they go and of different ages. I think there's probably more males on the street and of maybe a little older age. And I think of younger females or ones with young babies or something, they're kind of more of those in shelters and whatnot from what I've learned so far. Yeah. But they don't know how to get help. And it's heartbreaking to me because I have 5 kids, and over the 43 years my husband and I have been married, we've been through a lot with 5 kids, and yes. It's tough love. And sometimes they had to leave the house because, they weren't following rules, but we didn't kick them out. It wasn't like you can't come back. Yeah. But they tried their luck on the street a couple times. And I know what that's like. And it broke me to watch that happen, Yes. But we stayed strong and we said, you can come back, but you need to understand that these are house rules and these are the way we treat people. And we can't. Okay, so they're back and they're healed and now they have kids of their own and they know what this is like. Yeah. But I have felt the pain of what homelessness can be. And sometimes it's mental illness and it hasn't been diagnosed. And, I feel for not just the youth, but the adults that are out there too, or that breaks my heart too. But yeah, if you can get to these younger people at this age and you can somehow steer them in a different direction right now, you could save them years and years of pain and misery of not having anything, poverty and without food and being in the cold or the extreme heat is more concern sometimes nowadays than even the cold. So it's a big problem. And I hope that by my voice, it can, that people will pay attention. And Jeffrey's got an amazing organization. Yeah. And one of the things that attracted it to me in the beginning, which I don't think is, if I could ask Jeffrey, you to talk to this now that COVID is a little bit less of an issue, but originally he was giving people art and music. These kids that came off the street and he was approaching them with art and music. Let's teach you how to play an instrument. Let's get you to learn how to draw. And to me, that is just spectacular because I always said art will save people, music and art. Yeah. You can get out a lot of emotions when you do that and you can learn about yourself. And I thought, man, that is so wise to come at them with that and get them to trust you. And then maybe later on you say, do you need anything? Can I help you? And they go, yeah, actually, I need a driver's license or I need a this or that or a place to live. And that was fantastic. He hasn't been able to do as much of that, I guess, right, Jeffrey? Since COVID, it's been a little hard to gather the kids in the classes and stuff.
Exactly. We did this for 18 years.
Right.
And we had wonderful success. We saw 8,000 youth at that time. And after COVID hit, we stopped for 3 years. Now we have not continued it because the kids have spread out now since COVID. They're not together in groups. And because they're spread out all over, there's not enough concentration in any area that is enough to warrant to have a program. It's interesting how, you turn lemonade into lemons. And so
you turn lemonade into lemons? Don't do that.
Yeah, you make lemonade out of lemons.
Well, then you can make more lemonade, I guess. Let's try it.
What we found is that it wasn't as sexy, but we're actually getting better results with our homeless youth advocacy program because we put posters up everywhere, bright posters that the kids can find out, what we offer, our telephone number of our case manager, our page, for Facebook, that's a private Facebook page for homeless kids. And so they start calling us. And when they start calling, it's a whole different dynamics when they're calling us saying, I want help. That's versus us for the music in our program for a long time. Please, we can help you. It's a lot different when a kid calls you by the droves now. And we've literally broken records the last 3 years. Okay. Last year, we housed a record number. We've never even come close to this. 349 youth we housed because they called us from the posters. And so, yes.
Yeah. And Lucie, Jeffrey was telling me last time we were on the show that those posters that he was referring to, he showed me those and he was putting them up in locations. I was asking him, where do you put these? And one of the places he told me were libraries of all places. Yeah. Can you explain why that was? Because it sounded like a pretty brilliant idea just off the top.
Yeah, we try and put them in places that the youth go to. And the library is almost number one because they can recharge their phones, number one, for free. Okay, they can go to the bathroom. They can actually go on the internet with the computers that are free there. So a lot of kids congregate in libraries because they can get the things they can't get on the streets for free in the libraries. We also go to fast food restaurants where kids can go for $2. They can get a McDonald's or a Burger King or whatever. Also restrooms, there's local restrooms that are around all different areas that the kids go to. So we put these things up so many different places. Yeah. And I was blown away with the response of how many kids are calling us now. And it's been fantastic.
That's very wise. That's great.
How do you come up with these ideas? Are these things that you get together with maybe a small group of people and brainstorm? What can we do next that will reach the most people?
That's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
We have a maybe group of 6 and staff, and we get together and we literally brainstorm. We think out of the box. You have to think out of the box because what you did before, you can't do right now. This is all brand new. And so we just kept thinking. And then we got together with the UCSD students and they actually developed the bright poster. It came from UCSD, from our university. So, we kind of thought, let's get some ideas from students, whatever we could to kind of get a different spin on this so we can get better results. And literally, we were 188 youth more than we've ever served last year in housing.
Isn't that great?
And Jeffrey, I always want Jeffrey to speak to what does he actually need? Like people were saying, oh, we can send socks, we can send clothes, but really what you need is money, right? You really need so that whatever it is that these kids need, you can direct it toward that because the scope of what they ask for is extensive, right? It could be all over the place.
Yes, Lucie, that's a great point. We have grown so much in the last 2 years. We had to hire another full-time case manager, which is like $50,000 to $60,000 a year. We had to hire 4 new outreach workers because we've expanded doing outreach in different areas, and then we have a lot more supplies that the youth need. Let's just say one thing that we started, which was kind of a new thing that's really been helpful. We have a fund for car situations because a lot of these kids have cars. They live in their cars. And if a car breaks down, they can't go to work. Car breaks down, they can't live in their car. So we literally have a fund for automobile repairs to get these kids so they can go to work. They can be safe in their car, et cetera. That's just one of the areas that we spend the money doing, but we do it to get them to be functionally, so they can go to work and be self-sufficient.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like all charitable organizations. You can do more than just, weep softly to yourself and be sorry for these folks, these children, but you can actually get involved, or you can just make a small donation, or you can do these concerts that you've been putting on year after year, right?
Yes. Lucie brought up a good point. People want to know, what can they do to help? The number one thing is if you can, to make a donation of any amount. Doorsofchange.org is our website, doorsofchange.org. And someone can join our angel team, which is $11 a month. 11 means angels. So we figured, okay, the California Angels actually gave us permission to trademark the name Angel Team, which our attorney it blew his mind that they actually allowed it to go through, but because of homeless kids. And so we have a lot of people giving us $11 a month, $20 a month, $50 a month, whatever they can give is wonderful, because the monthly donation makes a huge difference. We know that we have money coming in every month because we keep expanding, food, everything for these youth. It costs money.
Bless you, Jeffrey, and bless you, Lucie, for doing that. That's wonderful that you and Anson Williams are both the top keynote people, so to speak, supporters of this. Each of you have your own reasons, and I appreciate that you told me your reason. It was almost divine. It was, like you said, speak to the universe. You weren't even considering his organization when you were thinking all this up, right?
No, I swear to God, my life has been like that forever. And I finally realized that there was a reason for that. There's an energy, I believe, in the universe. And if you just put your request out there and you're specific about it, energy that you are requesting will come toward you, and you have to be alert, answer the phone when it rings and say yes, as the song goes. Sometimes you got to say yes, like, oh, I just asked for that. Interestingly enough, and then say, thank you, universe.
Well, thanks. Now, Lucie doesn't have a lot of time with us, and Jeffrey was kind enough to let me speak off. Harlan even told me, he said, well, Lucie's probably all talked out about her parents. I don't think she wants to, how many times you must have done that over and over and over and over. And we're all fascinated. But I said, well, fine. I have plenty of other things I wanted to talk about anyway, and then this came along. We booked you before all this happened. But I'm a fan of your husband too. I've watched him for years as in different TV shows that came up.
Larry's an actor's actor. That's what everybody says. Yeah. He's an actor's actor. We always want to be a Larry Luckenbill. He's good at playing the bad dudes on the. He's just a good actor. Period.
I enjoyed that.
And he has a new autobiography. He just wrote about his whole life. He has an autobiography. It took him 10 years to finally finish, and that's coming out in the Christmas season. So I'm very excited for him.
Wow. Okay. Well, good. See, I didn't have. I asked Harlan, well, when this thing goes over, maybe I can talk to Lucie, and says, well, maybe not, because Lucie's not. You're not actually his client, right? You're a good friend, right? Isn't that how?
Yeah. I don't even have a press agent. I never have. Not for 20, 35 years. I haven't had a press agent. I don't know why. I just don't. But I love him, and as I said, I trust him. And he trusts Jeffrey, and he trusts this organization, and that was good enough for me, because I wanted to get involved. But I also didn't want to get involved with just some fly-by-night group. This group's been around a long time. Yeah. They know what they're doing, and I like that it's doing big things in a small area. I mean, that's doable. Do you know what I mean? I see. Yes. I'm afraid to sometimes get involved with these gigantic, I'm going to heal the world organizations, because I just go, really? I don't know if that's possible. But this is possible. This is doable. So,
absolutely. Yeah, and I appreciate what you said a few minutes back, where you were explaining what you came to learn about the organization, and you described it so perfectly. It was you lucked out having Lucie, Jeffrey, as your as one of your spokespeople.
Thank God. Seriously, I thank God. She's got such a great positive attitude.
Oh yeah,
she's passionate about the homeless situation. It's like, thank you, God.
Yeah,
the angel came.
Yeah, I'm considering using that as a clip, because once you got her to come out of her shell, she started rolling there.
I don't know that I've ever had a shell, but thank you. I appreciate
thank you for sniffing the sarcasm. No, listen. All my best to Larry too. I really appreciate it. Lawrence Luckenbill, to those who want to look up his history, and for those Star Trek nerds, he played a very big part in the movie.
Star Trek 5.
Yeah, so that's wonderful.
Let me take your pain.
Yes, that was he was pretty impactful in that thing. I thought, yeah, very good, very good
I have
role.
to do it like this. I can't do the hand
Oh,
thing.
I don't know why people can't do that thing.
I can't do it. My fingers won't do that, and so I guess you have to be able to do that to get the job.
Well, as Jeffrey knows, my normal show when I'm not doing Harlan's clients, that I like to do like a Hollywood interview, but I normally do a songwriting, a music show, inspirational type of thing. So, and I know you have a music background, and I thought maybe can you briefly talk about what you this show that you had, I Got the Job, because that is that sounds like it's quite a almost a comeback story. You had this pretty much in the bag, ready to go, and there were delays and there were obstacles. Can you tell us that story? Do you think?
Yeah, it's called "I Got the Job: Songs from My Musical Past." It's my concert show, basically talking about how I got into doing concerts 33 years ago. Was that I started in musical theater and I did so much of it, but now people sort of even don't know that. So I put a show together, sort of looking back over how that happened. How did I get there? And not all the parts, but some of the key moments and great stories. And we put it together in the summer of 2018, and I launched it, and we did it maybe 5-6 times. And then 19, we did it once or twice, and then boom, COVID hit. And I had all these dates we had to cancel, and it took literally 2 years to bring it back. And now we're out doing it again, and it's been just great. We just played Studio 54 in New York and got 2 of the best reviews I've ever gotten in my life. And I'm just like, oh my God. And it's like the most authentic show I've ever done. It's the one that means the most to me. So it's really good that people are accepting it like they are. And I'm going to keep on doing it for a while because it's the real deal.
Yeah, so you can sing and everything, and you can share anecdotes and all kinds of personal stories.
It's great. It's comprehensive little mini retrospective of my life in the musical theater. So it's fun to do, and it's real. Not that the rest of them haven't been, and that my stories are always truthful, but somehow this is of a piece. It's great, and I love it. So,
why did it take so long? What were the speed bumps along the way?
Just the COVID. I mean, we launched it, and then COVID happened, and everything had to go back to nothing again. And we waited 2 years to start. Then I came back. I did it 6 or 8 more times, and then I hurt my knee, and I had to get a knee replacement, so I canceled a bunch of other dates. And so this was like back by popular demand in New York 4 years later.
Isn't that crazy? But at the time we're talking right now, are you back? Well, you're in Palm Springs, so 54 Below is out in in Manhattan.
We did that in New York, and I just came back from that. Now I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus from actually doing that show, and I have other commitments of other projects, different business things that I'm going to put into this chunk before the holidays, and then after January, I go back out again. I do another slew of dates.
Good for you. Always
Larry,
working.
get the phone.
Yeah, we're used to seeing you. I've always seen you in pictures, out with Harlan and on your website and everything, with your beautiful chestnut hair and everything like that.
Oh, it's gone.
I'm glad to see you're dyeing it like all the kids do now. So.
I'm dyeing it. Yes, that's what I did. I dyed it this color. This is what I cleverly call my COVID cut and color. It had to happen because during that time, you couldn't get a haircut. You couldn't get your hair colored. No salons were open, and it wasn't pretty what was happening. So I went, okay. And I just chopped it all off down to the nubbies, let it grow out, wore a baseball cap. And I thought, I'm going to look at it. And if I hate it, when I can, I'll color it back. But I actually kind of thought it was groovy. So it's either that or go with what Jeffrey does.
I think it's groovy too. Yeah. Well,
Jeffrey's hair is my next.
Yeah. Well, Jeffrey did the same thing. He grew his hair out and then cut it, and then that kind of thing. So I'll get back to you one more time, Lucie, before we say goodbye. But Jeffrey, when she was talking about meaningful change that is happening in the lives, you have success stories that we didn't really get to go into last time about, Justine Bethel and that was it Trevor that was out there at the Petco Park.
Actually, Tyler.
Oh, Tyler. Sorry about that. I meant Tyler. I got Trevor on my mind there.
These kids, Tyler, when I met him, he was sleeping on the Imperial Beach Pier in Imperial Beach for 4 years. His mom was a meth addict. She lost everything, and they loved each other, but she couldn't take care of him. And so he literally, at 12 years old, he started sleeping under this pier for 4 years. He told me that the worst thing was when he was sleeping, all of a sudden the high tide would come and it would soak him. He was freezing. There was no place to go. So that's where he started. When I met him, our music program literally changed his life. He never played an instrument before. He loved it. And because of that, he really trusted us. And he's a giver. And so this is a picture of when I did a public speaking with him. A guy in the audience, he says, "What do you need, Tyler?" He said, "I need a car to get to work." He gave him this truck.
Tilt it down, because the tilt it the other way. Tilt it. There you go, like that.
Now we can see it better.
Truck.
Wow.
Yeah. Lucie and I were in the shot.
The first car that he had was a truck that he gave because he did speaking with me at an event. And he said to us, he said, "I really want to be a security guard. I can't afford the guard card. Can you pay for the guard card?" It's about $500 at the time. And he was such a giver. He was so motivated. We said, "We're going to do this." And so he literally was an amazing kid that just showed up for work on time, was motivated. He kept going up and up and up and up for elite security, which is the #1 security system in San Diego. They do the Padres, they do the Chargers. He's the youngest manager ever in the history of elite security. At 18 years old, he was the youngest manager. And this was him when he was at Petco Park.
Wow.
Excellent.
Wow. That's an amazing story, Jeffrey.
Yeah, but even more amazing, Lucie, he won the Employee of the Year award at Petco Park in front of 25,000 people. And I cried my eyes out. I was on the ground with him, and I cried my eyes out, and just to see him. So from there, he did that 7 years, and then he went to AMR, the ambulance service. They do the big ambulances, whatever. He's a senior supervisor now at AMR. So that just shows you these kids, anything is possible with them. And I'm so proud of Tyler, where he's been. He saves his money. He wants to buy a house. So, I mean, that's just one of the kids.
I hope you put him on your board of directors.
Yeah, he's good.
That's a great idea. And he's there for us anytime we need to do interviews, whatever. I've known him for 16 years. He's always been there. And would love to get him on the board. That's a great idea.
Because I think about, you want to have the kids who have been through this, and really, especially 4 years. Yes. He's got a ton of information. He's could write the book on homelessness. And I think kids who are homeless and all the information that they can give you is going to help you and I and everybody else trying to help homeless people figure it out better, because we don't know how it works, really, until you get in. You probably know a lot. You've been doing it for 22 years, but it's it changes all the time depending on what's going on in the country and weather and everything else. Just those common things like, what do you really need? What should we be doing? What are we not doing?
Right. That's great. He actually works the graveyard. He works from 6 o'clock until until the early mornings. So that's the only reason that we didn't put him on the board, because he works graveyard, and he's been doing that. But I want to share with you another girl. This is Justine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Justine was homeless from 12 to 16 because her mom was alcoholic and her boyfriend used to beat her up, take her by her hair and drag her. But then when he started taking her clothes off, she said, "I have to leave." And she left at 12 years old. She was very depressed. When I met her, she was on suicide watch for 6 months. I've never seen a kid more depressed than she was. But our music and art program, again, had a huge effect on her life. And this is now after she started doing her art. She loved art. And she really looked a lot better. You can see she's in black, which she was before, but she has she's smiling now. It's a whole different deal. And she's a hard worker. She used our classes to learn how to make jewelry. For 16 years, she paid for her education by her selling her jewelry. And now she just finished law school. So it's a tremendous.
Is that amazing? Or, oh my.
Look at that.
Is that great? I know. That's a success story right there.
Yes.
Wow.
So these are just two of the stories. And by the way, our concert, which is the Concert of Hope, that Justine is actually to be speaking at. We have one keynote speaker every event, and she is going to speak and share with them how did you go from the streets to graduating college and graduating law school. So that's just phenomenal. And that's going to be September 9th. It's the Saturday after Labor Day. If anybody is listening to this that's touched and you're in Southern California, please come to the concert. We need all the help we can get. There's going to be homeless kids at the concert. We want them to see that our community really cares about them. And it makes a huge difference when they see a bunch of people there. And Justine, her speech is going to blow them away. But Ben Harper is a 3-time Grammy winner. He's going to be headlining, and he's fantastic. And the person that opens up before him, she's won 8 San Diego Music Awards for blues and rock and roll, Whitney Shea. And so it's going to be a great, amazing event. But the most important thing is if someone's touched by this, that's what you can do to help. Come to the concert if you're able to. Even lawn seats are only $70 with the fees. So that's a reasonable amount that people can go to. And it's going to be at the UCSD Epstein Family Amphitheater. Go to our website at doorsofchange.org. That'll give you all the information on the concert. You can get tickets right there. And if you do, come up and say, I heard you on the interview. I'm here because of that. Please come up and say hello to me. I'll be in the talks.
Great. Yeah, he said a mouthful. I was going to mention your website, but you did it all. So, just go to that website, doorsofchange.org, and all those success stories are going to be up there. You can see information about the concert, ways for you to donate. And what were some of those other, wasn't there a couple other things you did? I think you had the keyboard signed by some musicians, Rolling Stone, Billy Joel, etc.
If people like music, musical, and they'll collect memorabilia. Just for this event alone, we have Billy Joel signed keyboard, Steve Martin signed banjo. He's a Grammy winner. We have John Mellencamp signed guitar. We've got Jewel signed guitar. We've got, a bunch of stuff. Oh, Neil Young signed 50th anniversary edition of his Harvest album, which is his #1 album. It's a special edition. He signed it. He never signs anything.
Oh,
so these are some of the items that people can go to our website. People can come to the concert, and we appreciate your help. And you just take action. If you're touched by this, if you don't take action, it doesn't mean a damn thing. You got to take action for it to be a change. Lucie took action. Okay. Dean, you took action. If someone wants to help these kids, please take action.
Excellent.
Yes. And may I say that if you really don't have extra money right now, you go, God, I wish I could, but I just can't. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to open my mouth and say, call Doors of Change, or go online and contact them in some way and say you'd like to help, but you don't have a lot of money to give. And maybe, Jeffrey, you can figure out a way those people can help you put up posters, or they can help you in some other way. Yeah. I always believe look, I'm helping by doing this, but not everybody is going to be able to help that way. I mean, money is great. I can do that too, but there's other ways you can help this situation. And even when Jeffrey said the last time we did one of these interviews, he suggested to somebody, go, listen, if you're hearing this out of range of where we contact kids, then, bring extra bottles of water in your car, or apples or something. You see somebody on the street, pass it out. Like, just be a part of this solution.
Yeah. It's like I was telling Jeffrey on our last time we talked, you see this everywhere. It's in all the cities. You'll see it in Palm Springs. I see it here in Orange County. In San Diego, I was down there a few times. You see it just constantly. Los Angeles, downtown, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be desensitized, and you don't want to be cold-hearted about this, but you just don't know what to do because it's not attractive. You don't know how to communicate with these people on the street, because you're afraid sometimes that they might lash out. You just don't, you never know what you're in for. This is a good way. Jeffrey has an organization. I think you've dealt with all those issues, right? You know how to get that job done without endangering the people that are helping you?
Absolutely. I mean, like Lucie said, anybody can put water in their car and put apples or oranges in their car. And when they see a homeless person, just give it to them. Set it right next to them. And if they're sleeping, just set it next to them. That's very important. One thing that's important is that in San Diego, 35% of the adults that are on the streets right now, and we've got 10,000 on the streets in San Diego, 35% of them were homeless at 25 years of age. Right. So if we can get these kids off the streets, like Lucie said, you can play it forward 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and those kids are not going to be on the streets like they are if we don't do this.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so wonderful. Before we say goodbye, Jeffrey, let me just talk to Lucie real quick because, I promised her we'd get her out of here quick. Off the subject, all my best to your little brother. I'm glad that he's alive. I know wasn't that a crazy thing?
That's so crazy.
You can tell the story in a second, but I fell for the clickbait, as they call it. When I saw something in the side of my, I said, "Oh my gosh, no!" Like that. And turns out it was all a big hoax, and I hate these things.
It's not even, it's just a lie in a headline. You go and you click on it to see, oh my God, Desi Arnaz Jr. died, what? And then there's a whole story about dating. It has nothing to do, and they never mention that he's dead. They don't even say that. It's just they get away with this awful headline, and it's some fakakta, website that means nothing. And I've had so many people call me and email me and text me, I'm so sorry to hear about your brother. I had literally called my brother and said, are you dead? He said, no, why? And I said, because
hold a mirror up and check to make sure. That's crazy. But I never click on those things. I actually went to the site and go, wow. And I always go off and try to research it, see, how did he do it? How did it happen?
If it was your brother, you'd probably click on it.
Yeah. But he was great.
He's fine. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure. Always. I've been, I followed his career and the ladies and his wife. His poor wife had passed away.
And brain cancer.
Have you been a supportive sister all through his career? It sounds like you were kind of close.
Talent. He's one of the best drummers and percussionists I've ever worked with in my life. I wish he would tour with me, but he doesn't like to travel that much.
Are you kidding? I remember I wasn't old enough to see it at the time, but you see clips of him like on Ed Sullivan when he was 11 years old with Dino, Desi, and Billy.
Yes.
And doing "I'm a Fool," and I thought that's how I enjoyed it, because I was I'm music related, so I always I loved that he could actually do the drumming. No,
he's really, really, really good at it. It wasn't a mistake. I mean, he and Billy Henchy, who unfortunately passed away last year, were the two, real special musicians in the group. And Dino was just this talent, this marvelous talent who could do anything.
Oh, yeah.
And we lost him way too soon,
Yeah. So by the way, Dina Martin, Dina, right? So
of course, yes.
We talked about 2018, 2019, and we mentioned that. And you two are like sisters just in that group, the sisters of each of those brothers.
Exactly.
And it was kind of nice. I think she said something about, you when you you didn't go to school together, right?
No, she's a little older than I was, and she went to a different school. I went to Marymount Junior School, and she may have gone there at some point earlier.
Oh, right.
I met Dino when we were at another school, like from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and she was already in high school somewhere.
It's a little fuzzy. Some of what we put on the air, and some of we talked off the air, and I remember she mentioned you and Desi for some reason, and it was nice. But please say hi to him, even though he's not saying hi back. All my best to him.
I will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for staying alive. You didn't. That is the craziest stuff. But yeah, wonderful, Jeffrey. Thank you for returning. We got Lucie on here. So, like I said before, she was a beautiful. I always go for the eye candy, and that's what I was talking about, Jeffrey. But
thanks.
No, you were adorable, Lucie. I really, really, really appreciate it. Oh, and by the way, my wife wanted to throw in. I've been saying Lucie a lot because we just got this puppy about 3 months ago, a Belgian Malinois with red highlights, and we named her Lucie after your mom. Just because. And I thought that she said, "Oh, don't forget to tell her that's why she is named Lucie." So when she's in trouble, what do you think I say to her? Lucie?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm the Lucie.
Correct. Yeah. And there aren't that many. Surprisingly, there aren't that many Lucies.
No, there aren't that many Lucies. My father did that, named me after her, but spelled it differently for some stupid reason. I'm kind of glad he did, though.
I like the way they named you both. Well, he's, like Desi Jr. is really Desi the Fourth, right? So it's like it goes like that. And then your middle name is what?
Desiree, which is not after my father at all. It's my mother's middle name and my grandmother's first name. And oddly enough, there are 4 Desis in my father's side of the family. And there are 4 Desirees in our side of the family. And none of it's connected. It's just a coincidence.
There are no coincidences in the Arnaz family, I think.
Wow.
There are lots of things. But yeah, did you and your brother ever, you were too little, very little at the time. Did you ever go to the set? Did they ever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
About Desi Lou? Yeah.
Absolutely. I was born, 6 weeks before they started the show. And as we grew up, that show lasted for 6 years. And so little by little, we would get old enough to go down, all dressed up and sit in the bleachers, and watch the show and meander around down on the set sometimes. And then I was on the Lucie show that came after that. And then I was a regular on Here's Lucie. So,
That's right.
Big part of our lives.
Yeah, we loved you on those things. And you got to meet all those people all the guest stars that came through there, the parade of guest stars that were on that show. And you got to dance and you got to sing and, so
what an education.
You almost, the training ground was already set. But
absolutely. I say in my show that, I had so much more musical experience after I was on that show for 6 seasons, because we did all these full-blown musical production numbers on Here's Lucy, much like Glee. We were Glee before there was Glee. And that really gave me an education in music and dance, singing, and all this stuff that I could take and then go out and audition for regional theaters, summer stock, and then eventually Broadway. And I was very grateful for that training ground. Who knew? I had no idea that was going to be what I learned by being on the show. And it turned out to just be a wonderful experience. Again, an opportunity to just say yes when you're asked, because it seemed like a smart thing to do when she asked Desi and I to go on the show. And I resisted for a long time. And then I said, okay, you know what? Maybe this is okay. Maybe I'll learn something. Yeah. And I sure did.
You worked for it though, even though you had the name, which probably helped you, but you always have to audition, right? It's never easy, even if you're a Nepo baby, as people call people when in the biz.
Well, it helps to have a door open for you, but if you don't do something well, they open it again on the way out.
They open the one in the back and say, quietly leave out that side. Yeah. But that's wonderful. Jeffrey, it's nice. Too bad we get, Anson, we messed up not getting Anson the last time, but we're happy to have you, Lucy, and it's wonderful that I'm going to be at that concert, so get to meet Jeffrey in person. What an honor it's been to talk to both of you. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you
for putting this organization. You're doing yeoman's work out there. I don't know how you do it. It's probably a life's commitment, right? When you go home, it doesn't really end. You're there with your wife, and you probably have your quiet life, but you're always probably thinking about this in the back of your head, what you can do.
My wife is very supportive, and it's my life's work, and I take it seriously, and because it isn't about me, it's about getting the kids off the streets, and that's why it's always humbling that it ain't about you. It's about what you can do for others, and that's why it's worked for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Lucy. I hope one day I can see you at one of these things if you ever go show up out in public again. I love it when Harlan posts the things but I never know if you do these things just privately when you're.
No. I'm all over the country. No, you can go on my website, luciearnaz.com, and there's a calendar, and it'll show you. But as I said, though, for the next 3 months, I'm purposely off. I'm doing other things, and then January we start up again and do a whole slew of shows. So you'll find out where I'm going to be, and I'd love to see you there.
Yeah, hope you'll put me together. I was the one that talked with you with Jeffrey, and we had a wonderful time. Doesn't she look great, Jeffrey? I love seeing her with the new look, even though you've had this for a bit. I've seen you. I remember when it happened, when you turned silver, the silver fox,
Thank you.
She looks great, and she's got amazing energy.
Talk about it. I wish I had a tenth of her energy, but that's another thing. But hopefully your knee is healed in the time that it's taken. It was a couple of years ago, right? Yeah.
It was last year. It's only been last September. It's only not quite a year yet, but it's doing great.
Hopefully you don't have to see the doctor. Speaking of which, she and Mr. Luckenbill are going to be heading out of here to go do, what husbands and wives do. They go out to eat. They go to the doctor. They go shopping. They cook for each other. All the great things.
Play with our grandson.
That's another thing. I
have 3 grandchildren.
3 grandchildren, yeah.
2 in Connecticut and 1 that's here. And
what a wonderful family. 5 kids, 3 grandchildren. What could be better? You're living the life in that.
Living the good life, my friend.
Lucy, thank you so much. Jeffrey, anything we can say to sort of as parting shots? You've been great telling us the success stories and the organization. So maybe we can wrap it up on remind people where they can go.
Yeah, just to remember, this can happen to anybody. I mean, if you lose your job and your family's on the streets, it can happen to anybody. So please know that these kids don't want to be homeless. And by helping, we're giving them a hand up. Not a hand up, but a hand up. And so they have to work hard. But with that, they can succeed. Their dreams can come true with hard work. And doorsofchange.org is our website. Doors is plural. Doorsofchange.org. Go check it out. See the videos on there, check out all the things, and then hopefully make a donation and come to the Concert of Hope on September 9th at UCSD. We would love to have you come.
Great. Thank you, Jeffrey. Doorsofchange.org. Go check out luciearnaz.com. That's her website. You can look at all the wonderful pictures and find out where she might be playing soon on one of those shows. And But don't hold your breath. She does it when she wants to, right? These are the. But even though she's got all that energy, thank you, Lucie, for your time, and have a great rest of the day. God bless you both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I love you. Thanks.
Thank you, Lucie. It's an honor and a privilege to have you on our team.
Okay, babe. Take care.
Okay.
Take care.
And
thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.